So we had that ending. WrestleVerse. The BC Elite for BC USA takes on the Young Bucks and Jon Moxley in trios action. Big matchup, especially since this is the finale week of the Wednesday Night War. Finally, we can have peace and quiet as we gaze into the next horizon of the next period of wrestling without toxicity up to the extreme. My God, the Monday Night Wars would not have lasted a year. But, yeah. So, yeah. The AEW World Champion Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers take on Jon Moxley and AEW World Tag Team Champions, the Young Bucks. Big match here. It's a big match on Dynamite, especially since we're already going to have a much bigger match on May 5th. I'll get to that, I believe, hopefully on Tuesday. And yeah, big match on this night. So we start off, Don Callis heads over to commentary after the whole fallout with the as part of the entrance, and after a moment where he starts mocking Matt Jackson, I believe. I keep getting the Young Bucks names confused. So he starts mirroring the slap he committed to Matt, much to his anger, trying to make him lose focus. Though I noticed the Good Brothers don't actually attack him when they could have, so I think this is all part of this nefarious plan by Don Callis to go ahead and manipulate events to get things to go their way, trying to make them look like if you really think about it, we're the good guys here. We're the victims here. Have you seen Jon Moxley's WWE matches? And whatnot. And yeah. This storyline has been rather interesting in how they're treating this, and I'm liking the slow burn they're doing. But yeah, I get what people are mad about, how this all ended, but this was a wild tag team match, I feel. This was a wild six-man tag team match. If there's one thing AEW got right, as much as I want to see the women's matches get more respect, in a world where WWE has failed the tag team division on the mainstream shows, at least, they're kind of okay with NXT. Last I checked, I haven't checked that for a while. I'll probably watch Takeover after this, or at least select matches just to get my assessments on that. But yeah, AEW got tag team wrestling to the extreme. And I am still waiting for when they make trio belts, because let's be real, with all these various factions they've done and all the crazed hype they've been doing with it, I feel like that's where they're going with this. They're going to try and promote a trios division, which if they do, I feel like that should go to be at the big title for Dark and Dark Elevation, because we need the women matches to get promoted more. So, yeah. Anyways, so this is a match that just was wild. You got some sequences going on with Jon Moxley and the Young Bucks with their dives, because we have to do that. And all throughout this match, you see the Young Bucks they want to hit Kenny Omega, they want to hit Don Callis, no doubt. They want to hit Kenny Omega, but they're very conflicted, and they're seriously conflicted about this. And I'm sure they are, but here's the thing about this conflict. It's actually a callback, I think. This whole storyline seems to be an inverse callback, so to speak. Where, remember, the Young Bucks and Kenny didn't have the best relationship heading into Strong Style Evolved, and they had pissed off when Kenny chose Kota Ibushi over them, and we all know how that worked out. He chose the Young Bucks over him, and I'm pretty sure when they reunite, there's going to be awkward dinner talk. And And the Young Bucks is continue to be in this conflicted state. Now that they know what happened on BTE, you have to account BTE. They're canon. It's canon. Now they have this planted seed with Hangman. While they haven't followed through with that on TV, I expect it to happen probably in the coming months. Yeah, I know. Just give it time. I'm expecting that this is part of that big story where they're gonna have to eventually really choose a side. Do they want their buddy back, or do they side with Kenny Omega and what he's become? And like I said, when this was the inverse storyline of the whole strong style evolve match, it's like, okay, Kenny Omega is basically in the Cody position, and he's pretty much corrupted himself and usurping this power of authority he has over people. The Young Bucks, however, are now in a state where they're no longer they're kind of grown up more, but they don't know where to go with this. It's I don't want to say it, but it's like the villain when he was conflicted for that time, and I keep thinking he dyed his hair gray just to do that, which was weird. I kept thinking, but like, okay, that's a cool aesthetic if he was going for that. But yeah, I was thinking this is a weird route they're taking this. So they're calling back to Strong Style Evolve. I genuinely think they're calling back to that. They're calling back to that to build to the ultimate end game protocol with this. The Young Bucks, then later in the match, when they have to have the moment of truth, they have to pick a side. They, right now, are doing this storyline. And now they're about to finish off Kenny Omega. Nick wants to. I keep trying to. I'm trying to get this right. See if I got the name right. Um, Matt. I keep thinking it's Nick for a sec. Matt Jackson, I think. Yeah, I think it's Matt Jackson, the one with black hair. So Matt is clearly conflicted. He wants to hurt Kenny. He wants to hurt Don Callis, and then he gets a moment when he can't super kick his best friend because that's his best friend, and I go ahead and say, yeah, I understand, man. Like, you want to beat the hell out of him when you're royally pissed off with him, but you can't do it because he's your brother in arms and all that. And sure enough, he can't. Then Kenny just like slaps and say, "Hit me, hit me, hit me," and whatnot. And I was like, this reminds me when Kenny Omega was so reluctant to hit the one-winged angel conveniently on Matt. That's actually convenient. And he just stops, and then Matt's like, "Yes, like, do it, give it to me," and whatnot, and forces Kenny to do the finisher, or much to his pain. And now he's trying to force Matt in that same position. Super kick me. You just kick my head in. And as this match continues to grow with Jon Moxley just taking out numbers here, and then the moment of truth comes when they have the chance to do the golden trigger or the elite trigger just to really add insult to injury, they can't do it. Like, they did it when they had Revolution, but but back then they were still tight despite their issues with Hangman. They were still the elite, so they were still in the state where we don't know where this is going. We can't. We're committed to this. We're still the elite. Even after all this, we'll kick your ass. We'll probably beat up Hangman on the side, but we'll still be brothers at the end of it. But now it's like they have to choose. If they do this, they end it. They are 100% done with Kenny Omega. The elite's never going to be a thing again, or at least for another 3 years. In fact, I actually think they'll be bold enough and ballsy enough to do 5 to keep the split on terms of factions. And they can't do it. And Jon Moxley's angry. He's pissed. He's like, "Come on, just do it. You know what he's done. You know what he's become and everything." And Jon Moxley lets his anger get the best of him, where he just likes striking down Kenny Omega with 2 Death Riders, and then goes for a rear naked chokehold. And yeah, it does not end well. He goes after a rear naked chokehold after the Young Bucks try to stop him. He goes for one more attempt to do the Death Rider, and Young Bucks once again are in their state of conflict and super kick the hell out of him, which was hilarious. They super kick Jon Moxley several times. Eddie Cakes is coming out all partially healed up, and Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows are like, and Doc Gallows are like coming in and stopping Eddie Kingston, beating the hell out of him, and subsequently doing the Magic Killer while the Young Bucks are like, what have we done? What have we become? And whatnot. And then they hit the Magic Killer on Jon Moxley, and they drag Omega's carcass over to Moxley, get the 1, 2, 3. Sudden enough, K Omega and the Good Brothers win. The Young Bucks continue to look at this conflicted state now, and the Good Brothers pick up Moxley, and Omega's and Callis want Young Bucks to officially choose. Like this, like you could make the argument that was the heat of the moment, like they still see him as their brother, but now they're slightly more calm. But Don Callis is clearly being the voice, the devil voice, the hate, I'm trying to remember that name. Uh, uh, Othello, I think. Uh, Othello, I keep trying to remember what that was. Uh, and where was it? The whisper over the shoulder thing, that classic evil tactic that evil people do, and the Young Bucks look at each other, conflicts in them, and sure enough, they choose their side. They drop Mox, they hit super kicks, they've chosen their side, and now they don't do it too sweet. Notice that they don't do it too sweet like they usually do. They instead do a curtain call ho, like, we're back together, man, we're back together, and I'm pretty sure that's gonna lead to something with jokes, mostly mostly taking a shot at the Click, and they hug it out with Omega, Doc, and Carl to close out the show. And this is where I think I'm gonna guess. Now, originally I had originally thought that this was going to continue the conflict. Like Moxley was going to lose. I knew Kenny was going to win. I knew Kenny and the Good Brothers were going to win. I didn't think the Young Bucks would officially choose a side just yet. I get that complaint people were making, how they feel like this was repeating it, but I'm trying to find the best words to describe it. So I feel like they're trying to do an inverse kind of story, and also I'm gonna be honest here. This is this that is. I get people who are mad, but I'm thinking at the same time that I don't recall that many people being mad over Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn being bros all of a sudden when they tried to kill each other for like 3 years, and then they all of a sudden are brothers again because at the end of the day you hate this guy, you want to punch him in the face, but like you're like, brothers don't shake. Brothers gotta hug and hug it out and whatnot. And sure enough, they're just royally conflicted. I think the only way this bond is going to end is if Hangman gets involved. Like I said, all roads shall lead to back to Omega, and I am genuinely thinking, yeah, that's going to be where it goes. Moxley can't convince the Young Bucks. If anything, they're the reason why he's the reason why the Young Bucks are now aligned with Kenny Omega. The only one who can really convince them to stop this path of destruction, this path of self-destruction, is Hangman. He's the only one that can reason with them. They now know Hangman was always there was still their bro. They're the ones that stabbed him in the back and put Hangman on this path of destruction on himself and this self-loathing complex. And now you got all this going on. they're gonna follow through with that. I genuinely think all roads shall lead back to Revolution, and all roads shall lead back to Hangman. All roads shall lead to Gold. And now, but where does Moxley go from here? Where does Kingston go from here? I still think we're gonna get a match with Kingston and Omega. I'm not 100% certain since I don't recall the last time Kingston wrestled a match. So they're gonna have to rush certain things. Luckily, they have 3 shows. They can blow that up. They can build that up rather quickly. And yeah, that I think that's where they're going with this. Hangman is the only one left that could really reason the Young Bucks to get out of this dark state that Kenny's in. And he's trying to poison them with his power. But we'll have to see. We'll generally have to see in the coming weeks, maybe months, maybe near the end of the year. I generally think that's how long this story is going to last with Kenny Omega as the world champ until at least either Full Gear or near the end of 2021, which will be an exciting time. And now we all rejoice. Well, you see, it's over. The Wednesday Night War, the once fabled tale that we were going to get this promising rebirth. Everyone was going to rejoice, and all this glorious, rich content we were going to get that has been turned into a tribalist warfare game is over. Can you hear the echoes? Can you hear the silence and the calming nature of everything? Yeah. Soon there shall be a quiet, prosperous time for both NXT and AEW. Both gave their finales tonight on Wednesdays. NXT is moving to Tuesday. Impact has moved to Thursdays. Isn't it beautiful? Isn't it beautiful that this stupid tribalist warfare has ended in terms of weekly TV competition? I'm like, we'll still have tribalists. We'll still have people defend the WWE when they do the most abhorrent, amoral business practices. And Vince McMahon trying his best not to go on Twitter and rant like Donald Trump. But can you just think for one fleeting moment that after Thursday, when the viewership numbers come in, I think NXT is going to win, though they were on Peacock, so that could hinder them. Since, the Nelson ratings don't acknowledge it. But can you just imagine it? They're going to end this year, all this, one last rating, and we can finally say goodbye to this once promising golden rebirth, and just hope that it is just a growth period for both brands. Isn't that nice? Don't you just want to be at peace and watch NXT and watch AEW without having conflict or having to get those TVs where they come with both viewership stuff? And then you don't have to complain about the viewership numbers anymore, or wonder why the Nelson rating system completely sucks and doesn't want to go ahead and acknowledge streaming services. Because that would probably change a lot of things, and the old suits don't care about change. Isn't it nice? Just close your eyes and really picture it. I'm Neo Reality Entertainment. This was the WrestleVerse. Thank you. Thank you for this glorious moment of reprieve that we get from the tribalist community of wrestling. Isn't that nice? Silence.